Hello and welcome to an introduction to StatWizards Simulator Wizard. My name is George Boomer. Join me while we demonstrate how this vital component of our discrete choice suite works. Discrete choice analysis is rapidly becoming the lead market research technique in Global 1000 companies. That's happening because of a growing awareness of how the methodology addresses critical business issues with remarkable accuracy. These issues include helping formulate and position products in an evolving marketplace, developing pricing strategies based on metrics rather than intuition and experience alone, projecting how well new products might fare under competition and determining where share gains will come from, figuring out what combination of features will raise sales and profits the most, and identifying market segments based on differences in demand patterns rather than less important factors. One tool, our Excel-based market simulator, addresses all these issues. Its capabilities are so rich that we've devoted an entire video to them. You can find it on our site at www.statwizards.com. Building a simulator is the last step in a long process, which starts with describing a product or service in terms of its attributes. Using those attributes, we construct a series of hypothetical store visits based on an experimental design. Next, we combine the store visits with other questions to form a survey questionnaire, which we send to the field. When the data return from the field, we arrange it in a form that a chosen discrete choice estimation package can use. Next, we estimate a discrete choice model and turn the results into a market simulator. Traditionally, this process requires considerable time, money, and expertise, especially in the red areas that you see here. In our view, this wastes precious resources. So we created StatWizards to reduce the time, cost, and complexity of the process and make the technique more accessible to businesses, academics, and consultants. The Design Wizard takes a simple list of attributes and levels, then constructs a set of store visits in seconds. The Data Wizard takes data from a survey and rearranges it to the form that any of a number of estimation packages can use. The program also sets up any command files the package may require. The Simulator Wizard, which we're about to cover, takes the output from the chosen estimation package and converts it within seconds to a full-featured market simulator. The wizard works with most estimation packages, including William Green's nLogit for nested logit or mixed logit models, Sawtooth Software's choice-based conjoint using hierarchical bayes with Gibbs sampling, Jay Maggotson's latent gold choice for estimating choice models while simultaneously identifying market segments, Michael Bierlaire's Biogene, a free discrete choice estimation program, and Kenneth Train's Gauss routines for mixed logit. As a special benefit, if you use a different source, we can incorporate it into the simulator at little or no charge. So how does the wizard work? Starting from one of the outputs you just saw, the wizard identifies the estimation package, gets data from survey results and design files, asks a few questions, and builds a simulator. Let's follow this process using an example. Our example involves a hypothetical shoe company. The shoes they make have three key attributes: fashion, quality, and price. Each of these attributes has a number of levels we want to test. Fashion has 2 levels, traditional and modern. Quality also has 2, standard and high. Price has 5 levels. We could use the output from any statistical package, but we'll choose Sawtooth Software's CBCHB because it's so popular. The only change we made to the CSV utilities file was to replace the column headings with the attributes and levels we saw in the design workbook. We entered this information in the form attribute:level. If you installed the add-in correctly, the Simulator Wizard appears in the add-ins ribbon. That's the case here, so we click the button to launch it. The opening screen of the wizard displays. It reminds you of everything you need to run the software. We have everything, so we click the Next button. This screen asks you for the unit of measurement. In this and the following steps, the wizard selects common defaults for you. Because the product is shoes, we leave the default setting for individuals alone and click the Next button. If you use the Designer Data Wizard earlier in the project, they provide useful time-saving information as we go forward. That's the case here, so we leave the box in Panel A checked. Likewise, respondents could choose none of these in the hypothetical stores they visited, so we leave the box in Panel B checked too. We click the Get Files button to continue. Because we checked the box in Panel A, the wizard prompts us for the name of the workbook used by the data wizard. We navigate to the folder containing our workbook. A dialog box telling us what to do next appears. Note that, as with many other messages the wizard produces, you can click the Copy to Word button to save a copy of the message. We won't need that here, so we click OK to proceed. The dialog box closes, revealing a partially formed simulator. The key things that concern us are the items in blue. The number of products in the marketplace in cell B129 comes from our experimental design, which placed 3 products on each hypothetical shelf. If you want the simulator to contain more products than this, you can edit this figure. For our demonstration, we'll leave it as is. The descriptions in column N also come from the experimental design. They will appear as labels in the final simulator, so you should review them to ensure they are sufficiently descriptive. In this case, they seem to be, so again, we leave them as is. Now that our editing is finished, we can rerun the wizard. This time we will use the keyboard shortcut Control-Shift-S. We are ready for the wizard to check our work. Click the Validate Entries button to continue. Validation is a snap because in this case we made no changes. Click OK to move on. In examining our model, the wizard found an age variable that the Bureau of Census tracks. This step, which deals with weighting, offers a default option to weight the model's results automatically to census proportions. Alternatively, you can provide your own weights or choose not to weight the results. Again, we choose the default and click the Link Census Data button. The wizard attempts to map our age categories to census categories. As the information window states, the wizard's guesses are usually pretty good, but they are not always perfect and should be reviewed. When we close the dialog box, we see the wizard's attempts at mapping in columns Q through T. In row 125, for age 40 plus, we notice a gap between 50 to 54 and 75 plus. Fortunately, there's an easy way to fix that problem. Clicking on cell S125, we find a drop-down box. We click on the down arrow to the right of the cell and see a list of census categories for age. Scrolling to the top of the list, we find the word "to" and select it. The meaning of this becomes clear as we step back a moment. "To" signals the wizard to include all intervening categories. That's the only change we need, so we can rerun the wizard. At this point, we are on the verge of completing the simulator. Because our model contains discrete prices, the wizard asks whether we want to interpolate them so we can enter continuous prices in the simulator. We choose to do that, so we check the box. We click the Build Superstructure button and the wizard takes over, indicating progress using a red bar. The last screen appears. To see the wizards work, click the Finish button. Our simulator is ready to use. All we have to do is to fill in a scenario, so let's do that now. We'll start with the first product's fashion attribute. When we click on the cell, we notice another drop-down box. That's because fashion contains discrete levels. Clicking on the down arrow displays two attributes. Of these, we'll select traditional. In like manner, we select high for quality. However, when we click on price, we see a message saying we can enter any value between 25 and 125. The message appears because we chose to interpolate prices, allowing us to treat price as a continuous variable. Had we not chosen this option, we would see a drop-down box as with the other discrete attributes. We'll type in a price of 99. Notice that so far, the rest of the workbook has remained unchanged while we enter these settings. That's because a product does not enter the marketplace until it's given a name. Let's call this our high-end shoe. Now the simulator comes to life. Note that you can remove a product from the marketplace merely by deleting its name. When you do that, the simulator removes the product but leaves its description. This approach lets you restore products without having to re-enter their descriptions. Let's fill in the assumptions for the other two products. Our simulator is ready to use or deliver to a client. For more information on the surprising number of features the simulator contains, see the companion video, Introduction to StatWizards Market Simulator, at www.statwizards.com. Thank you for watching.